things Christians, very warm. He would stop at nearly every church on a walk. He would always stop and go inside a church. So he was never a thoroughgoing atheist, rejecter of Christianity. He simply fell away from the faith. Because, he says, the Christian story is just that. It's the most beautiful of all fantasies. It's the wonderful most made-up stories where human beings have invented. But he says it's like a beautiful lie breathed through silver. Another fine phrase. Christianity is a beautiful lie breathed through silver. Poetry, imagination, music, and the like. But untrue. Untrue. And therefore, I can't hold it. Tolkien says, come with me. So they go out, because the Inklings always met in the pub to have fun. They read their manuscripts to each other in Lewis's rooms at Magdalen College at Oxford. And Magdalen has a great deer park where deer run wild, and where you can take these long walks. It's fenced in. They had a walk that began at midnight and lasted till 3 a.m., in which Tolkien made the following argument. That Christianity does have deep connections with pagan myths, pagan stories, of dying and rising gods, of virgins bearing children, and the like. But far from being the ultimate lie, it is the ultimate fulfillment of all those human anticipations. And Lewis works this out beautifully in his novel called Till We Have Faces. If you don't know that novel, I urge you to read it. For he, having learned from Tolkien, therefore, that rather than being the kind of ultimate self-deception that Christians have perpetrated upon themselves, is the ultimate fulfillment, where myth becomes history. Where in the one and only exception to the rule, this is not simply a story that men make up. This is a story where God is the playwright, the author, and the central character. And he went on at that great length. And as a result, Lewis came back into the church, but Tolkien thought it would be good to write a poem about his return. So can all of you see a copy of this? You've got it on you. We'll look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th stanza that begins the heart of man. Y'all see where that stanza begins? What I want you to see is how deeply Catholic this poem is. It's written in iambic pentameter, which Tolkien did not like. Tolkien thought everything after 1066 was downhill. That the invasion of the Normans was a huge mistake. That Shakespeare was this hopelessly modern figure. That we had this rich Anglo-English culture that the frogs ruined when they came in. But notice he uses the iambic, he uses the pentameter, he uses the rhyme couplet. So I'll read this. The heart of man is not compound of lies, but draws some wisdom from the only wise, and still recalls him. Though now long estranged, man is not wholly lost, nor wholly changed. Disgraced he may be, yet is not dethroned, and keeps the rags of lordship once he owned. His world dominion by creative act, not his to worship the great artifact. Man, sub-creator, the refracted light, through whom is splintered from a single white to many hues, and endlessly combined in living shapes that move from mind to mind. Though all the crannies of the world we fill with elves and goblins, though we dare to build gods and their houses out of dark and light, and sow the seeds of dragons, it was our right. Used or misused, the right has not decayed. We make still by the law in which we're made. So you can see in that one stanza, three basic arguments being made. First of all, Tolkien does not accept a description of the fall as being the total ruination of human nature. He's not a Calvinist. He believes that we're radically fallen, but not utterly fallen. Let's say our wills are not completely negated by the fall. So we're not this made-up compound of untruth, lies, but we would not be human unless we still drew on the wisdom that comes from uppercase, only wise, and still recalls him, so he identifies him, the wise, not as an abstract philosophical principle, but as the incarnate Lord. But notice what we did, we became estranged. This is what happened. When we became estranged, we're not wholly lost, we're not wholly changed. We are indeed disgraced, but we're not dethroned. Here's why. We keep the rags of lordship that we once owned. And he has, of course, here the Adamic myth. Adam is made Lord of Eden. He used to be the sovereign master of Eden, as God is the sovereign master of the universe. We are to treat nature as God treats us, not subtracting. But notice Romans 1 comes bursting through. We are not meant to worship the creation, the artifact, the thing made, but the maker. So not ours to worship the artifact, because we are, this is the key point, we are what Tolkien calls sub-creators. A distinction by which he means every person who lives is all of the time creating by putting back together the things of the world into new shapes, new forms. So he's not talking about artists here. He's talking about teachers. He's talking about plumbers. He's talking about mechanics. We are making all of the time. When we get dressed every day, we make ourselves. You women have the advantage. You make up, as it were, your face. So for Tolkien, all of us are all the time rearranging things of the natural order into a new imaginative order. And we're therefore creating. We can create however ill or well. Not all creation is good. Much of our creative work is evil. The Nazis were superbly creative in a horribly evil way. That's how we misuse. But our nature is to be makers, so that means creating other worlds with elves, goblins, gods, palaces where gods live, dragons. And then the key line, we make still by the law in which we're made. God made us as we make the world. Now,
He had that wonderful phrase right after the sub-creator where he talks about the refractor.
Who addressed it?
In that line when he was saying, man is the sub-creator, and after that he said, he also mentioned we are the refractor.
Yes, that's good.
Which is a wonderful image there also.
Only God is pure light. All light is flowing through us as a prism in which that white light is being refracted exactly into many splendid colors, some of which are very evil.
Yeah, again, you can twist this.
No, you got it exactly right. You got it exactly right. Yeah.
He uses a similar analogy with Saruman from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Saruman the white becomes Saruman of many colors.
Yeah, but you have to be careful about that. Saruman the white doesn't become Saruman the black.
Right. He breaks the light.
Because he becomes one who has so many colors, he's no color. And to have no color is the worst of all states. Could I show you these pictures very quickly? I'll be done, I'll show you. I'll try. So, what do I do to make it go? There we are. This is the most famous picture of Tolkien. Some of you know it quite well. His daughter, Priscilla, said, "My father was incapable of having a bad picture made of him."
That's the quintessential English dawn. That is the quintessential English dawn.
Oh, absolutely. The high collar, he always wore a vest, always wore a tie, held his pipe in his teeth. Here Tolkien is a World War I soldier. Look at the solemnity of that man's face. He's not smiling. He's not grinning. Those are the trenches in which they lived, and over the top they went out to fight the battle of the Somme. This is Edith Bratt, a lovely, lovely woman. 3 years his senior. Here Tolkien is back at home in Oxford, resting in the backyard, sunning himself. This is the Tolkien home. See the blue plaque? How many of you been in England and seen the blue plaques everywhere? Any historic site has this blue plaque. Make another pointer that signifies that something important occurred here. And in this case, it was the important fact that Tolkien lived there. Here are Tolkien and Edith Bratt late in life. I think this is a scene occurring at Oxford. Tolkien in his office. Here's the quintessential Don. Coat, vest, tie,
1,000
gesture.
books.
Sorry?
1,000 books.
Yeah, easily. None of them printed before 1066. This is outside his college. He taught at Merton College, his career. Here's a pork pie hat, which every Englishman wears outdoors. I made this shot myself with Merton College. There you see the Great Tom Quad over in the distance of Christchurch. This is the Bird and Baby, Eagle and Child pub where they went. How many of you ever lifted a glass at the Bird and Baby? Oh, good. Good, you're among the elect. This is Tolkien's very artistic handwriting. Where for him, lettering, I'm so glad you haven't given up cursive. Are you aware that cursive is no longer being taught in many, many schools? Unbelievable. Not only was he the devotee of cursive, but look how he makes his letters almost in the wonderful script of the Gothic. 3 rings for the elven kings under the sky, 7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the dark lord on his dark throne, in the land of Mordor, where the shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to bind them, 1 ring to bring them all, and in the shadows bind them in the land of Mordor, where the shadows lie. And he loved to bring over Anglo-Saxon words. Mordor is a word for murder. You can see the links. They're all through. Here's some of his drawings. This is a hobbit door. That's his drawing of Gandalf knocking on Bilbo's door. In Waco, Texas, there's a pub that has a hobbit door that you go through. Next door, at least. This is his own drawing. He always kept a piece of drawing paper folded up in his pocket, pencils and colors. This is his drawing of the raft elves, remember, who hide themselves in these barrels to float down the river to escape their pursuers. This is Rivendell, and you can see these great mountains that come together and are, as it were, rivens apart for the river to flow through them. And this is where it all ends for all of us. Tolkien and his wife are buried in the most obscure part of the great cemetery at Oxford, among Polish emigres. Because remember, Catholics cannot be buried in unsacramental ground, non-sacramental ground. And so look what his children did. When she dies in 71, he has her name, nickname, Luthien. Remember her, the Elden Maiden? When he dies, his sons have Baron, her lover, and his dates below. And of course, friends and followers of Tolkien leave flowers and all other kinds of things all the time. Well, you've been patient, you've been kind, and I didn't talk about Leaf Bilingual. To be honest, when I saw only 4 or 5 hands go up, I was afraid I would be pulling teeth. And I thought it'd be better to talk about Tolkien in more general terms. If I've disappointed you, I apologize. But I don't, I want to talk to the choir more than the people who don't know what's going on in the story. I thought, so thank you very much.